What's going on, everybody? This is former Pennsylvania State Constable Stephen Wiggs filling in some gaps that a lot of people may wonder about with regards to the charges in New Jersey and how things happened. Why did it happen? Um, to clarify some things, the Sheriff's Department in New Jersey actually is just a pawn in the hands of another agency from out of Pennsylvania. That agency is the Pennsylvania State Police of Troop K out of Philadelphia County. Why them? Well, I was charged with impersonating twice by them, uh, and we came out on top. There's only one way to come out on top against the Pennsylvania State Police. We're talking about an agency that is one of the most known agencies throughout the United States and potentially global. The Pennsylvania State Police was beaten by me and my team from my agency. In Philadelphia County. They charged me with my firearm. They charged me with impersonating a public servant twice. The first time they charged me with impersonating a public servant, they did so maliciously because I challenged their stance on my agency. The real job of the constable is the protection of the citizens, and has always been. I promote this idea because that's what the Supreme Court gave the marching orders on. Okay, it's in Case Law Act 147, where the Supreme Court identifies the role of the constable indefinitely. It tells the tale the constable is charged with the conservation of the peace. It states that it's the constable's business to arrest those who violate the peace. It tells the tale that the constable is a peace officer. A constable is a known peace officer charged with the conservation of the peace. Now, it also gives a footnote. The constable is a police officer. The Pennsylvania State Police didn't like the idea that I held my ground when speaking with them in their barracks. They asked me to not pull over for a motorist unless they were trying to flag me down while I'm traveling the highway. This comes about when I stop for motorists upon my duties to protect citizens throughout the Commonwealth as a state officer within the agency. Yes, the constable's office is of the executive branch, not the county or local. It is of the executive, which is the state level. Okay. So I exercised that ability, and the troopers didn't like it. The troopers didn't like the fact that there was somebody else on their highway. The troopers didn't like the fact that I expressly forbid them to run my agency. I was the elected official. The constable is the chief of the agency. The title constable is the chief of the agency. A lot of people really don't understand that, but I exercise it. Okay? And the troopers didn't like it. So they threw bogus charges, and they lost. They wanted to throw around the idea that they didn't think I was a constable, and that was the first charge that got thrown out. And then they charged me again because I had the word police on my apparel, and they lost with that too because it came out in my court case that the constable is a police officer. So New Jersey throwing around the idea that the constable in Pennsylvania is not a law enforcement officer is completely out of line. If we beat the Pennsylvania State Police in our home state, Jersey didn't find me guilty for impersonating a police officer under New Jersey law. In my court case, they took our case laws, one of which identified the constable as a police officer in Pennsylvania, and they overlooked that literature. I dropped that information multiple times, but this video is to fill in some gaps. That gap being the Pennsylvania State Police. Yes, I was once charged with impersonating before by the Pennsylvania State Police. And the Pennsylvania State Police didn't like the fact that I beat them, that my agency beat them, and now, after they lost, it was forced to give me back everything, including my guns. We're talking my gear, my cruisers that said police on the vehicle, and all my gear that said police on it, and they was forced to give me back my 2 firearms that they took from me. Now, the New Jersey authorities up in Essex County did exactly the same thing. And the only reason they got away with this in the beginning is because I had the wrong representation. My agency's representation could not come into New Jersey to handle this battle. So I wrongfully went with the public defender's office in the beginning, and that was my mistake. My current attorney allowed it to be known to me that the reason this even went the wrong way in the beginning was because I had the public defender and not a regular attorney. So I'll be back with some more information. But to those that are questioned about my status, yes, I am on the bench from the agency following another situation. I will talk about that a little later because that's bogus as well. So I will keep you updated, and hope you stay in tune, because this is police corruption at its finest. You know, the troopers led the sheriffs to do what they did, and the sheriffs told me that directly. You know, I want you guys to know that the sheriffs were led by the Pennsylvania State Police after I beat them a couple months later, and the sheriffs bit on the bad apple, the rotten apple. So stay tuned. I'll keep you fed with some more information. Peace.